Okay everybody, thank you for joining me here today, and this is the first game in tonight's internal Fusion Slugs tournament, round number 2. Spawning down in the bottom right, we have FS Quackpork, a bit of a veteran in the Fusion Slugs ranks, and currently ranked Platinum on the ladder. Spawning up in the top left, we have FS Enever. She's one of our newer players, and I believe she's currently ranked Silver or Gold. I'm not quite 100% sure on that. I've never actually seen Enever play, so I'm quite curious to see what sort of style of play that she follows. I'm quite appraised with Duck's style of play. I believe we'll probably be expecting some sort of... I don't want to say Fallgate / cheese, but Duck's PvP usually ranges from straight up cheese to some sort of really macro game. I know Quackpork is generally very, very dangerous in a macro game, and you always want to try to kill him before he can get to that, because he macros up very, very strongly, I guess you could say. So Enever's probably going to have to do some sort of 4-gate play, or perhaps even a 6-gate play with only Zealots. The lack of wall off here from Duck is disappointing, and I hope he watches the VODs to hear me say that. Always wall off. Enever is walling off here, which is definitely the proper decision. I think this pylon being part of the wall shouldn't be there. I think she would definitely benefit from having the pylon back here, somewhere in the location about where the corner of her gateway is now. And she'd probably want to wall off with a gateway, a cyber core, and then a zealot with just one hole there. Judging by the, well, I wouldn't say fast gas, it's average gas timing, we are seeing pretty standard play. In fact, both of them are doing almost identical things at the moment. Enever playing slightly faster than Quackpork, which is almost to be expected as he has not been playing a lot recently. We have a lot of probes going around everywhere, really. It's definitely the right choice she's having here to try to scout, see what these probes are attempting to do, see any proxies. Because if you can see those proxy pylons to shut them down, it definitely gives you an edge against your opponent, because it'll shut down most 4-gate play, which is what you want to be able to do in PvP. Now we have a second gas coming out here from Enever. I'm going to be leaning more likely towards some sort of DT play. I'm going to call it now. I'm going to be DT or fast blink. Perhaps a 3-gate robo. My PvP is not very good. I'm not the most knowledgeable person in PvP. Looks like this probe is just taking the probe here from Enever, just on a run. Trying to get into the base now to scout. The Zealot is just being put on hold position. I believe he's fully walled off that entrance. Both players getting pretty up-to-date information on their opponent. Enever not quite the most up-to-date. Quackpork's currently got 3 gates down, and he's securing his natural at the moment. We have a probe from Quackpork just rammed straight in, giving him no scouting information, however. He was unable to scout the robotics bay, so we currently have a 2-gate robo going down at the moment from Enever, and Quackpork is going with 3 gates, warp gate tech almost finished. It's about 80% complete now, and 2 gases. These builds are starting to change a bit. So, Enever's pumping out the observers at the moment, meaning she's going to start getting a lot more scouting information on what Quackpork is doing, which is going to help her definitely in the long run. Only 3 gates here from we got a very late robotics bay. He definitely should have had that down a lot earlier. He's not going to benefit very much from this now. This is a bit weird play from him. Looks like we're seeing a 3rd gateway coming down now from Enever, and her first immortal is beyond halfway done. So her immortal count is going to be higher than Quackpork's count, which is, in pure numbers, giving her a better opportunity for victory. We have the first observer now flying down to the natural of Quackpork from Enever. She will be able to scout a third, and she'll see everything happening in the natural as well. Neither player has decided to go for an expansion, which is not uncommon in PvP, as generally any sort of fast expansion play ends up with the person attempting to expand being severely punished. So we're only getting the first observer out from Duck right now, when the observer from Enever is actually scouting the entire base. It's a very good play here from Enever. I'm quite impressed actually. Quackpork is not chronoing out his immortals, and quite frankly isn't spending his chrono at all, so Enever's got an edge on him there. She's macroing better and she has a stronger army at this point. So depending how the engagement goes, I would be leaning towards her and being able to take this game at this current time. So we've got Enever now gearing up to take her natural. She's still 100 minerals short of that, so it won't be happening for a while now. And Quackpork playing as if he's already taken a natural with a million probes here. Quackpork on 34 probes on one base, still continuing production. There's oversaturated, and then there's just throwing a bucket of water on someone. So, very curious here on Quackpork's play. Enever not opting to push out, starting to throw down her robotics bay. We'll be seeing faster Colossus production coming out from her, definitely. Quackpork only just starting to use his chronos. Only has 2 immortals currently, to Enever's 2 immortals actually too. So the immortal count is actually evened up, which is rather surprising. Quackpork does not have any information on what's currently going on here at the moment, although he's got to be knowing pretty much what's happening. You'd have to assume anyway. He's expanded in response to Enever's expansion, and she does not know about his expansion, but you'd have to also be assuming that because he isn't going for some sort of 8-minute timing attack, that he's also gotten his expansion. We are not seeing a probe transfer from Enever yet. I'd be praying that Quackpork transfers one of his 37 probes to the natural of his base. Please transfer some of those probes, Duck. Quackpork coming out with his 3rd immortal now. Enever's still staying on 2 immortals. Getting a robotics bay but doing absolutely nothing with it, instead going up for the Twilight Council. We have a Warp Prism coming out now from Quackpork. Enever's scouted the natural coming down. We have a massive probe transfer. This is definitely something Quackpork needed to do. We have 15 probes being transferred down to the natural, with 1 probe already put down there. We got pretty even bases now with 18 probes in the main and 16 in the natural. So Quackpork is looking much better off economically, and has successfully been able to bring this to a macro game, which is rather surprising because Enever had a very powerful army to start off with, and she could have done a lot of damage to Quackpork fairly early on. So I don't know, bringing this to a macro game, not a smart choice, although it may have been out of her hands. Enever's the first one to put down a forge, meaning if she's able to get an upgrade lead, it will definitely put the game back into her balance, but it's not looking good, I'm not gonna lie. It's, as far as I know, a lower league player trying to out macro a platinum. Quackpork taking his 3rd base now, going, you know what, I'm just gonna do what I'm good at. I'm gonna go straight to a macro game. Enever sniping the observer here from Quackpork. Very good. I like to see this sort of, these small plays are the ones that win games in my opinion. Taking out that observer, shutting down vision for Quackpork on that side of the base. Both players have very limited vision. Quackpork, the only one with a Zelnaka tower, doesn't even control his own tower at this point of the game, which I'm not gonna lie, it confuses me a little bit. I like to, as a Zerg I guess, it's just built in to always own those towers. If you can own the tower, own it. because it's definitely very important to have that vision in your game. So Quackpork's starting to float up a little bit here. Quackpork has a Colossi out, and with the second one on the way, Enever is currently pushing out her first one, getting another observer. Quackpork's tech for the Colossi has already been finished, so it's definitely going to be an interesting one. Oops, daisies. Enever's observers seeing the army moving out here from Quackpork. This could definitely be looking good for Quackpork at the moment. Enever's army is still sitting up here in the main. She is unable to defend her natural currently. If the army decides to push up, she does not have a lot of vision on when it's coming. She has an observer pushing over towards the army now to see what's going on, but she doesn't have enough to beat that in all honesty. Currently in the upgrades, Enever has +1, while Quackpork is still 0-0. But I believe somewhere he has 2 forges. Quackpork is pumping out his 1-1 armor and weapons, whereas Enever, still only operating off 1 forge, no chrono, is starting to fall behind a bit. We have a Dark Templar warp in now, jumping into a warp prison. This is definitely going to catch Quackpork off guard, as he currently has no cannons anywhere. So this Dark Templar harass, say she can get into the third when the 2 armies clash, will actually be doing a lot of damage if Quackpork does not react to this. So we have the usual response of, I'm going to go attack, I'm going to put down some static defenses now from Quackpork, which may be enough to take out the Dark Templar, at the very least stop them from killing too much. Quackpork warping in 1,000,000 gateways. We have 8 gateways being warped in now from Quackpork, plus another 4 up in the main. 5, sorry, up in the main. DTs are coming in. That cannon's gonna finish up just when the warp prison gets there. She's just gonna fly straight on by to the natural, where there is actually another cannon situated. DT is gonna be able to harass the workers at the gas, which is generally not what you want. This cannon's unfortunately not able to reach the DTs on the far right side of the mineral line. DT is going to try to take out the cannon. DPS has been halved. That DT is going to get back. Oh no! DT almost kills the... Oh my god. Pull back to the second cannon, Quackpork. DT is taken out by the other cannon. For some reason pulling back his whole army to deal with 2 Dark Templar. Definitely not something you want to be doing. Base count has evened up, and Quackpork is floating enough to take not just himself on a holiday, but he could also take Enever and all of the spectators in this match on a frickin' vacation to Vancouver. I don't know why we're going to Vancouver. We could have gone somewhere fancier, I guess, but he could take us all on a vacation now. He is floating so much money. Enever opting to go for some Phoenix to take out the Colossi. Now, I'm not against this play. I'm not against it, but I don't like it. So I guess I am against it. I'm going to say I'm against it. I think going something like Phoenix to attempt to take out Colossi isn't necessarily going to be that advantageous. Oh, I've missed a warp in of Zealots in the third, which has actually completely ceased mining there. So it was a good assault here from Quackpork with his Zealots. Now, with this Phoenix play, I'm kind of against it because you're going down another tech tree. Currently you've got your ground army, and now you're trying to get air as well. So trying to get upgrades for ground and air so that they're both effective and that they're not, I don't know, weak, is something difficult in my opinion, and it's something that, unless it's managed properly, it's going to cause you a lot of pain rather than the other way around, where you want to be causing the opponent a lot of pain. So mining started up once again on the third there for Enever, but Quackpork's still staying one base ahead now in this massive macro game here for PvP. Starting to mine out of this base. Quackpork's reached his maximum unit count and has decided to push through. He's had this sort of composition in his army for quite a long time now, and I think waiting until now has actually given Enever a chance to build up and get a pretty powerful army to fight him. Because he actually doesn't have any observers in this army, and there are 5 DTs hiding in Enever's army. 7 DTs now. Well, some of them morphed into a Archon, but a lot of DTs, and with no detection to fight those DTs, he's going to have a bad time. So I think morphing in even more gateways now. I think unless he gets some actual real detection going, then he's not really going to win the battle. He has more Colossi, which in all honesty isn't something he should have been doing, because he has no vision on Enever's army, which stopped at 2 Colossi. She's not attempted to produce any more Colossi from there. So her decision to stop Colossi and start going into other tech trees is actually something that's made her composition stronger than Duck's. Because just because you have more Colossi doesn't always mean you're going to win. She has quite a few Immortals, and she's got the Stalker count and DTs, along with Archons, which are just going to lay down so much damage on Quackpork's army. So if Duck wants to engage this, he's really going to have to get a money angle and try to catch this army out in the open, which at this current point in time, Enever is in no rush to push out. She has the Phoenix to attempt to kill the Colossi, which now I believe is actually going to be extremely effective, as Quackpork only has 9 Stalkers. So, in all honesty, Enever taking out her Warp Prism there, because why the heck not? Enever deciding to morph all of her DTs into Archons. So the edge which I've just been talking about, not necessarily there. Quackpork's setting up his concave, just waiting for Enever to come out and attack him. He's sitting there just building up pretty much. He's sitting on 5 base against 3 base. Currently 4 bases. He just doesn't have the knowledge of what his opponent's doing to, in my opinion, sit here and do this. He's floating so much, but he isn't really doing it. I mean, he's trying to, I guess, sit here so that he doesn't die, but he's not harassing, he's not stopping mining, meaning she's effectively being able to do the exact same thing as him. I mean, we have a Warp Prism over here that doesn't need to be here because it's not doing anything. There's a million cannons here, so there's no harassment's going to be able to be done at the third. The natural's pretty much mined out now. The main's done, it's even out of gas. Enever deciding it's time to do something, getting a little bit bored of sitting here for 25 minutes with absolutely nothing happening. Some of Quackpork's army is actually out of position, meaning that she's going to be able to do a lot of damage here. Quackpork has sighted on the minimap that the army's there. He's got his army selected, he's ready to go. This pre-made concave is going to do a lot of damage. Trying to get the Zealots in there. Quackpork's army, it's dishing out damage, but I'm not quite sure if it's going to be enough. Both armies here engaged in a pretty much War of the World battle here. Quackpork's Colossi actually going completely against everything I've said, just going sort of mass destruction here. Quackpork did huge amounts of damage then with those Colossi. Enever's really got to get Tom Cruise or someone with a hand grenade to throw some freaking grenades inside these things. Phoenix count, not going to be enough to take that down. It's a very, very long game there from both of them. Both of them trying to play a long macro game, and unfortunately for Enever, just the, I guess, army angle then really was not good for her. Quackpork was able to get a straight up concave that just crushed her army straight away with all those Colossi. And I think that's really what won it for him then. Those Colossi just did so much damage.